To the new homeowners of Abaco, congratulations.
I am proud to say that this government, as a team, has done 40 homes in Pinecrest in New Providence. We should give it up for a government who's working for the people. 6 in Ocean Hole, Eleuthera. 10 in Central Pines. 2 in Spring City. Renaissance, we have 50 plus homes. San Salvador, you will hear about.
A building in Bahamas where diligence and perseverance are rewarded. In Bahamas where, if you make the right choices and work hard, home ownership and upward mobility are within reach. Under our program, you can move into a government-built home now, pay an affordable monthly amount, and work your way toward full ownership. It's practical, it's fair, and for many, we are scaling this up across the country, from New Providence to Grand Bahama, Exuma to Abaco, and here in Eleuthera. We are cutting roads, installing water and power, building homes, not in theory, not in press statements, but on the ground.
The Office of the Prime Minister Press Office is the primary liaison between the Fourth Estate and the Office of the Prime Minister and Cabinet.
Every day, we are working to build a more inclusive economy and a stronger, safer country.
Hear all of the latest developments as the Davis administration carries out the broad mandate of progress and change. Our live weekly press briefings provide full access to current newsmakers on the most topical issues of the day. We facilitate prompt responses from cabinet ministers on the latest reports and get answers on the issues that matter to you.
Will any penalties be levied against the
OPM Press Now, keeping you in the know. Good morning, everyone. I'm Keith Slatterly, and welcome to the Office of the Prime Minister and our weekly press briefing. This morning, we are going to discuss a matter that is always topical, the issue of tourism. We are joined this morning by the Director General of Tourism and Aviation, Ms. Latia Duncombe, and her team. We'd like to thank them and welcome them to the OPM this morning. Obviously, there was a fire incident on Bay Street. We'll also get an update on that, the implications of that, and what's being done to remedy any problems that may have resulted from that. But I'd like to welcome to the podium now Ms. Latia Duncombe with an update on tourism stats. Please welcome her.
Good morning, everyone. It is always a pleasure to be here and also to provide an update on my favorite topic, tourism. We are at a pivotal moment. Tourism is directly impacted by global shifts, rising costs, geopolitical tensions, and evolving economic policies. But instead of retreating, we're leaning in. The demand for the Bahamas remains high, and our destination continues to resonate with travelers across the globe. While the international landscape remains uncertain, the Bahamas is charting a steady course forward. Our performance is stable, and the outlook is positive, thanks to targeted strategies, deliberate action, and strong collaboration across the sector. Our approach is to act with intention, respond with precision, and always looking ahead. Regarding our performance, January to March 2025, the Bahamas welcomed 3.3 million visitors to the islands of the Bahamas, a 9% increase over the same period in 2024. Cruise arrivals totaled 2.8 million, up 11.5% over the same period. Year-to-date air arrivals totaled 487,000, reflecting a 3% shortfall compared to last year. However, air arrivals in Grand Bahama, Abaco, Bimini, and Eleuthera exceeded 2024's performance. Growth is being realized across our family islands. Stopover visitors totaled 512,000, representing a 4% shortfall compared to the same period in 2024. Behind every statistic is a real Bahamian family: a small business owner, a taxi driver, a straw vendor, a fisherman, a hotel executive, a budding entrepreneur who depend on the flow of visitors to maintain their livelihoods. Our focus is self-sustaining, economically viable destinations. Market highlights. The U.S. represents 83% of total visitor arrivals to the Bahamas, and the average length of stay is 6 nights. It remains our largest and most influential source market. Our recently concluded Instant Savings campaign drove strong bookings, while brand activations such as the Times Square takeover, out-of-home advertising Lenny Kravitz, and a robust digital strategy helped to keep the Bahamas top of mind. We've deepened our engagement through trade shows and targeted on-island programs, including boating flings, dive week, women's dive week, and fly-ins with our ambassadors. From now till the end of the summer, we're celebrating 30 festivals across the islands of the Bahamas that will showcase the vibrant spirit and culture of the Bahamas. To build on this momentum, our next Florida sales mission is scheduled for next month. Canada represents 9% of our visitor arrivals, and the average length of stay is 8 nights. Canada remains a key focus. New routes from Ottawa and Halifax and added summer capacity from Montreal are now in place, offering greater accessibility. Our Instant Savings program in the Canadian market is live, and the book-buy date is May 19th. For travel through to the end of October this year, these bookings will support the summer and also the fall. Our media plan is in full swing with in-destination broadcasts, and the Come Along destination visit is also underway. Additionally, expanded airlift by Canadian carriers into Europe and Latin America enhances our overall connectivity, connecting the Bahamas to these markets. Europe and the UK represents 5% of visitor arrivals and an average length of stay of 9 nights. The Bahamas remains active in Europe and the European markets through long-standing partnerships, digital marketing, and a strong presence on the ground. British Airways anchors connectivity, and we continue to collaborate with key tour operators supported by out-of-home and multilingual campaigns. These targeted efforts are helping to convert interest into bookings, reinforcing the Bahamas as an accessible, culturally rich, year-round destination. Latin America represents 2% of our visitor arrivals, and the average length of stay is 7 days. This region remains a strong opportunity for the Bahamas. We've maintained active representation across this region and have been steadily working key markets such as Brazil, Colombia, and Argentina for several years. More recently, we have returned from World Travel Market Latin America, where we reinforce partnerships and advance trade discussions. These markets present strong potential in luxury, romance, family travels, and the group's business, meetings, incentives, conferences, and events. With tailored messaging, enhanced connectivity through key regional hubs, and consistent trade engagement, we're positioning the Bahamas for sustained growth in Latin America. Emerging markets. We're working closely tracking India and the Middle East, two of the most rapidly outbound travel regions in the world. As these markets expand, so too does the opportunity to introduce the Bahamas to new, high-spending travelers seeking luxury, wellness, and cultural experiences. By monitoring uplift trends and investing in future-facing partnerships, we are preparing to unlock the next wave of strategic growth. Leisure and group travel remain the foundation of our stopover business, and May is recognized globally as Travel Advisor Appreciation Month, and a number of travel advisors are here with Sandals, and DPM will be speaking with them tomorrow, Virtuoso, AAA, among others that will be in destination this week. We maintain strong partnerships with international meeting planners and have consistent presence at influential platforms such as the CHTA Marketplace, IMEX Frankfurt, IMEX America, Virtuoso Travel Week, among others. These efforts ensure that the Bahamas remains top of mind in the competitive space. Driving growth through action. Our global sales missions are actively underway in Canada and Florida, engaging with airline partners, tour operators, travel advisors, meeting planners, and the media. This integrated approach ensures that the Bahamas remains top of mind and continue to convert awareness into meaningful bookings across all segments. Our media campaign includes a new tagline: "It's not just one island, it's a lifetime of them." A lifetime of islands, a lifetime of experiences, a cohesive message that highlights the depth and diversity of the experiences across the 16 islands in the Bahamas that we promote. From a digital perspective, our Bahamas.com has generated 3.4 million global visits and a 9% conversion rate, which is well above the industry standards. 296,000 hotel leads and 86,000 booking entrants. Bahamas.com remains a vital engine for awareness, conversion, and bookings. On island, while we build demand globally, we're also improving the visitor experience locally. The Smart City initiative focuses on enhancing the visitor experiences by providing free Wi-Fi with real-time information, encouraging exploration and engagement with local businesses. It enables real-time data collection on visitor preferences, allowing for targeted marketing and improved experiences, thereby strengthening the Bahamas' position as a leading smart tourism destination. We've also recently launched our Google Street View project across our islands, and it now makes pre-arrival planning more intuitive. You can visit the destination through the Google Street View platform. Our ongoing sustainability efforts are enhancing the destination's appeal while preserving its natural beauty. In closing, despite the global uncertainty, our focus remains sharp. Through strong partnerships, bold promotion of brand Bahamas, we are driving growth, expanding our reach, and ensuring that tourism delivers a meaningful impact across the islands in the Bahamas. That ends my presentation, and I am open to questions. No, you're correct.
What do you link the shortfall to, and how long do you think this will last? Because you also referenced what happened last year. So I guess we were expecting things to continue at the pace. We were continuing that, but there are, like you alluded to, global shifts and other factors. But what do you pin down the reasoning behind the shortfall?
So there are a number of factors that can be attributed to the visitor arrivals. And I think that the first thing that we look at is uncertainty. From a geopolitical perspective, there's been some shifts. What I'm really excited about is that the impact has only been 4% from the stopover perspective. Amidst the uncertainty, there's also opportunities. Because of our strong global relationships, it makes the Bahamas very attractive for the US market, the Canadian market, the European market, the Latin American market. And so we've doubled down. The Bahamas is now the place that visitors from far and wide across the globe can come and enjoy the destination. And so for us, with all of our targeting campaigns, it's important that we remain top of mind. And so we've ramped up from a digital perspective, our boots on the ground, we've accelerated these efforts, because now when individuals consider traveling, they are now prioritizing the Bahamas, but that visibility is so important.
So, looking ahead, are you able to speak to projections in terms of if we think the uncertainty that we are seeing will actually have a greater impact moving ahead, where we can see that shortfall, that number increase? And if that is the case, I know you mentioned the campaign, but are we doing anything specifically to try to combat that? Because I know international reports have reported people have cut back on traveling amidst what's happening globally.
So to speak to that, I can share that for us, the outlook is positive. Historically, we've used forward keys and we've used that as a metrics, but we've seen over time that the booking window is shortened. And so we're not able to use that as an exact projection. With the level of uncertainty as well, it kind of causes things to shift just a little bit. And so for us, there's certainly a lot of opportunities in the midst of everything. Regarding our efforts at this time, we have boots on the ground, 7 offices around the world that have responsibility for their surrounding states. All of our efforts have been ramped up. We've launched the new tagline, it's a lifetime of islands, a lifetime of experiences, a lifetime of opportunities with Lenny Kravitz. And so for us, we're saturating the market. We're being very targeted with our approach. And you are correct, some visitors have opted not to travel. Some visitors have also opted to redirect where they travel. And that for us is where the huge opportunity comes in. So with that shift, they're now looking at the Bahamas more and more. So yes, there is the impact by those directly affected, and they may not be able to travel as much as they would like to at the moment. But the opportunity ahead of us is what we find so positive and so amazing, and we're working towards delivering on the experience and being in front of the audiences that are prepared to travel at this time.
Madam DG, what do you think the impact could possibly be on hotels and other tourism stakeholders, considering that stopover visitors spend more money than cruise passengers do?
So the impact in general, when we look at the numbers, and we just had a stakeholder meeting on Friday past, we're seeing it. And when we're in market, we work together. So a number of the shows that we go to, the promotion boards are there, the hotels are there, and we work together. What we're seeing is that booking windows have shortened. And so we're not moving forward with the same level of certainty because of the shift that we're seeing. But we all agree that the demand for the destination is still strong. And that's why a cohesive effort is so important as we move forward. So the global sales missions that we're getting ready to do in Florida, they're going to be a part of that. The Canadian missions, they're a part of that as well. Our teams in London and stretched across the US, also in Canada. So we're working around the clock nonstop. The key thing is to make sure that we remain up front and center. Whenever a group decides to book, they select the Bahamas. Whenever someone considers travel, Bahamas rises at the top as a safe, warm, and welcoming destination for all travelers. So we do expect that over time, Q3, Q2, that the numbers are going to improve. We do expect that.
Did you make a suggestion that this bust up between Canada and the U.S. Means that less Canadians are traveling to the U.S. and more of them are choosing to travel into our region. Is that the reason that tourism is marketing so heavily in Canada, or have you shifted your marketing in Canada to take advantage of that opportunity?
Well, what we do, we look to capitalize on all opportunities. And so for us, we see an opportunity in the US market, in the Canadian market, and also in the European and the UK market. To your point, a lot of airlines have announced that they're shifting more of their routes into Europe, into the UK, which is a great benefit to us. I mentioned earlier the new services, Ottawa and Halifax, another benefit for us. The service at Montreal, it's extending, it's increasing, another benefit for us. So for us at the Ministry of Tourism, we're not choosing to ignore one destination, but we're maintaining our presence across all front and ramping up to capitalize on all opportunities.
Madam DG, just to go back to the hotel sector and the impact, we understand that Atlantis is operating, it's already operating under 50% in terms of occupancy. It's had to trim down its contingency plans in terms of forward-looking plans. Let's speak more to, if you can, the impact on these hotels due to the fall off in travelers.
Okay, so I'll touch on the tourism perspective and look at it in terms of how it would impact, obviously, the hotels. Last year, we launched a global instant savings promotion. We started to look at the numbers, and they were soft, and we pivoted the ministry from time to time. And we offered an instant savings. There was a book buy period, there was a travel buy period. It was well received. As a matter of fact, it was oversubscribed. More than 4,000 bookings with an average of 2 to 3 persons, with each booking travel to the Bahamas. From time to time, we will have to pivot from time to time as we look at the opportunities that are presented. With the level of uncertainty that we see, we cannot accurately predict what's going to happen tomorrow. But what we do know is that there are huge opportunities. At this time in Canada, we have the 400 Canadian instant savings promotions. And some of our hotels have also launched residence promotions in specific areas in Europe, and we're looking at the same in Florida as well. Most countries, most competitive markets, we're all pivoting because at the end of the day, with the level of the uncertainty that we're seeing, we have to make sure that we always rise to the top.
I know one of our biggest problems right now is the hotel room inventory. The number of investments in hotel rooms that are coming up, that are underway or soon to be signed, are they enough to kind of bolster the types of arrivals that we want to see into the future?
With the diversity of our islands, with the 16 islands, we can use as much as we can get. But the amazing thing about these investments is it allows the Bahamas to attract even more visitors to our shores. I think last year, the occupancy stood around 69%. And so the more rooms we have, the diversity in the types of rooms we have, whether they're family all-inclusive, whether they're couples all-inclusive, adult all-inclusive, all of these are varying options that our visitors can capitalize on, which is another thing or another reason the Bahamas is so well positioned right now. We actually have a product that's designed for every visitor, whether you want the fast pace of Nassau or the adventure or sustainability of Grand Bahama or the off the beaten path of our family islands. It's attractive to everyone. So the inventory that's in the pipeline, once it comes, we will absolutely use it, and because our inventory determines our growth. The more rooms we have, based on the types that we need, determines the visitors that will visit our shores. No? All right. Well, thank you so much. It's my pleasure.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Duncombe and team. Thank you very much for that update. Just one quick announcement for me. As you know, Prime Minister Davis is in Washington, D.C. today for talks with U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio. He and the delegation will discuss matters of mutual interest, including matters related to border controls, illicit trafficking, financial services, and other matters of cooperation between the two countries. On that contentious issue of the Cuban nurses and how their salaries are allocated, which was, of course, brought up by Mr. Rubio several weeks ago, the Prime Minister goes into that meeting trying to get a clearer understanding of where the disconnect or problem lies. Is it that the U.S. government does not want us to engage Cuban workers at all? Is it that there are questions over how their salaries are allocated? So he really wants to get that clear and get to the bottom of this matter. He does also want to make it very clear that the Bahamas does not participate or support human trafficking, forced labor, or anything of that sort. Our standing as Tier 1 in the latest human trafficking report issued by the United States bears that out. Prime Minister returns to the capital tomorrow, and of course, we should have some feedback on the outcomes of that meeting at that time. Any other questions?
Where does the Prime Minister rely on Cuba getting some of that money? I know he said that was something the government was looking into, the fact that all of the pay did not go to those medical professionals.
It is something that he is looking into. We haven't gotten back on that yet, but as soon as we do, we'll give an update on it.
I know you said there was supposed to be a fire update, but I wanted to ask in terms of resources, if government is moving to acquire more resources for the family islands. I know the situation in Apico, the volunteer firefighters there are calling for more resources. We saw one of the foreign homeowners paid for a plane to come to drop water over the burning forest. How is that looking in terms of government procuring more resources? I know they sent the commissioner to look at some stuff as well.
Yes, of course, we are in the midst of the dry season, and we've seen some unfortunate occurrences with structural fires as well. But even before the season began, the government was in the process of sourcing those pieces of equipment, fire trucks, fire ladders, additional apparatus, and the training and recruitment of officers to work within the fire branch as well. From my understanding, there are about at least 20 major pieces of equipment that are being sourced to cover New Providence and the Family Islands. And I'll give you an update very soon on the timing of those pieces of equipment being brought in. But that is something the government is aggressively pursuing, yes.
20 major pieces, meaning fire trucks, meaning?
I won't go into detail on that because I don't have that in front of me, but it is a major acquisition of equipment for fire resources.
Do you know where they're being sourced from? I know Prime Minister Davis said, I think it was last month on the ground in Abaco, that the Commissioner of Police went to Scotland and Germany, I believe. Are those equipment coming from those countries, or?
Well, if that's what he said, I will go with that. But I can add to that these are pieces of equipment that have to be built, outfitted to certain specifications. So that is all a part of the process before they're shipped.
Now, we know that in Africa, which is a smaller population, there's 5 operational fire trucks. And these are operations by volunteer firefighters and other private citizens. But there's only 3 operational fire trucks in New Providence that's done by the government agencies, obviously. What do you say to people saying that that's a poor reflection of how fire is being operated by the government side or I guess, our fire department with the lack of, I guess, operational fire trucks considering the size of New Providence?
Well, this is a problem we've been dealing with for a very long time, over several administrations. The fact of the matter is the government sees that this is a huge deficit and is working aggressively and as quickly as possible to remedy it.
And I know we were supposed to have a fire update from the fire chief. When can we expect that here, considering I think the national interest and the, I guess, urgency of the matter?
As soon as possible. That's all I can tell you on that. Monique, had a question for me? No? Okay. All right, anyone else? All right, thank you all very much. Have a good afternoon. I do have some refreshments for you.